was it worth doing present? Because it didn't really satisfy anyone. The supporters of Israel are mad at you for not voting for it. Critics of Israel are mad at you for not voting against it. Do you regret that?
You know, it is something that I weigh, because there's always the macro and then there's the micro. And in the macro of narrative, of politics, of national impact, you know, I probably should have just gone with my value. But in the macro, which would be to vote no, but in the micro, I do believe that this created a window in our community to be able to bring all folks to the table, because my great fear is that we are going to import the same sort of contention around this issue, and we can have a progressive movement that defends Palestinian human rights, that is Muslim, Christian, Jewish. So in the micro, I believe that it created a window of opportunity for us in the Bronx. But in the macro, it was very difficult, yes.
So I guess this critique of this nonsense would fall under, according to the article, would fall under the more trivial stuff. The petty, I forget the phrasing, petty something they call it. The critique that would fall under the category of being a little less serious, I guess. All right, let's play one more here. Now, remember when Anna went off
elected lawmakers to protect us from these religious zealots and these right-wing authoritarians? Man, we have another thing coming. How many times do we need to be disappointed by them? I'm done with them. And personally, I don't speak for everyone in this network. I want to be clear. I'm speaking for myself. I'm done with them completely. The Democratic Party, every single one of them, that includes the squad, I don't care anymore. They have not delivered. They have not delivered. I'm done. Okay. It's time to organize, create organizations that get women and get people in this country what they need. People who are willing to pick up the slack for these disgusting, feckless, corrupt politicians. That's what we need to focus on.
Okay, so let's be clear. Anna was triggered by the Democratic Party, the squad, not doing anything. And I would put Anna in sort of the category of the writer of this article. Professional managerial class type left. That's who Anna is. And also this guy. Now, he talks about them
people it would
highly now, but let's listen to Cal Kalinske.
67%. Here's how many people it would help. Here's the minimum wage should be, if it kept up with productivity, over $20 an hour. And people are going to fight with us about 15? You don't even want to put 15 in there? Pfft, fuck out of here. Fight! 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 And if you're not going to do it, then don't whine when people attack you.
He's talking about the squad in AOC. Talking about how they have no fight. And if you don't fight, then don't be mad when somebody attacks you. And that's the answer we have, Misty and I have, during this.
Don't get upset when people come after you, because they have every right to come after you if you're not doing the thing that we sent you there to do. So people have been more than patient, man. They've been more than patient. And the left doesn't have much to show for their tactics of, well, every now and then I will work with Pelosi and I'll say nice things, and then maybe she'll give me some things if I say nice things to her, and then from now on, maybe we'll have an open working relationship. And then when I ask for the next progressive thing, maybe she'll put it in.
Is he supposed to sound like the guy from The Office? No. Office Space, the movie Office Space? The guy who got sent down in the basement level with his office. He had very thick glasses and he talked like to himself. Is that who that's who's Kyle is mimicking here? He's doing a pretty good job. He has the voice a little bit.
For their tactics of, well, every now and then I will work with Pelosi and I'll say nice things, and then maybe she'll give me some things if I say nice things to her, and then from now on, maybe we'll have an open working relationship, and then when I ask for the next progressive thing, maybe she'll put it in there. It hasn't worked. It's never going to work. Make them hate you. And by the way, they think the media shitting on them and Democratic leadership shitting on them will ruin their future prospects. You'll become more popular if you do it. I promise you, you'll become more popular. But you have to take on the fight and never back down and never shut up and never stop speaking your mind about what you believe in. So I think Kshama Sawant is exactly right about this. She clearly completely gets, the strategy that we were attempting to do. And she's probably the answer. She's the one who needs to be in Congress, or she's the one who needs to be in the Senate, because she ain't going to back down. She's going to lead the fight. And you know what happens, guys? Usually
That's amazing to find content from this guy, Kyle, that sounds more like something RBN would be able to get on board with. He doesn't talk like this anymore. You deserve all the criticism you're getting, Squad and AOC. This guy saying it, the professional managerial class NATO left guy. Talking about what you're calling accomplishments. Basically describing them similar to what we would describe them as nothing, as crumbs of crumbs. And then you have this Jacobin article that essentially is taking a picture of crumbs and then taking it to the local FedEx Kinko to get it blown up and saying, look. Let's listen to the rest of Kyle's video.
all it takes is one. All it takes is one person to show a little bit of fucking spine, and then the rest of them hop on board. But, listen, it is sad, because what does it show you? It shows you that these people who we sent there, who we hoped were leaders, none of them are leaders. They're all followers. They are. I'm sorry. As much as I like some of them, they're all followers. They're waiting for somebody else to take the risk. And then when they take the risk and they see, like, oh, this guy didn't fall, when they suddenly start advocating for that position. Oh, me too. You know when this happened recently? And this isn't even one that I necessarily agree with, but it's one where they decided, oh, we're going to puff our chest out and fight. When it came to expelling.
I don't know what he was about to say, but that's a classic video that I have to save and repost occasionally because of the clown that we call Kyle Kalinske. So let's play another video, less than a minute.
I would just say exactly what I just said before. We're not canceling the squad. The squad is canceling America if they don't fight and use the leverage that they have. The worst abuse of power is having power and not using it. And they have it right now. And if they fail to do that, everyone sees what they're doing. And it will completely decimate anyone who runs for office as a progressive ever again, because they'll see that they're not fighting. So what we're asking is for you to fight, do everything, scratch and claw to give people health care in the middle of a deadly pandemic. And if you don't, you are canceling America, and everyone will see that, because you do have the power. Who do you answer to? Do you answer to the Democratic Party, or do you answer to the movement? Do you answer to your voters, or do you answer to oligarchs? That's what everyone's watching right now. And there ain't no amount of bullshit that's going to get you out of it. That's what I say.
Now, remember the article said AOC and the squad, they're very responsive to movements and activists on the ground. That's what this is about. This is a pressure campaign to get them to force a vote. You saw Brianna Joy Gray come together along with Katie Halpert, along with Jimmy Dore, to talk about this. And I think Crystal Ball was on here too. Maybe not the stream, but she was part of the coalition that was for it. And now you know a lot of these people don't even get along anymore. But that tells you.
I say.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah. So Bree, you see in the corner, and you see Justin Jackson, LA Charger running back. Actually, he just retired. And then Katie Halper and you see Jimmy Dore came together about this. Did they respond? Completely ignored. Let's listen to this one here.
Here is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She out of nowhere began complaining and screaming and whining about how Twitter didn't censor enough tweets about her. I know you'll be shocked to learn that she tried to turn it into a hearing about herself and her own victimhood, claiming that Donald Trump's tweets inspired hatred against her and demanding to know why Twitter didn't do more to delete them. In other words, she wanted more censorship. That was her anger, was that they allowed the sitting president of the United States to speak too freely. I think she was the only one on either side of the aisle in this committee hearing who kept asserting that the authenticity of these materials remains in doubt to this very day. Nobody thinks that. The New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, CBS have all acknowledged, now that the election is safely over, that they could fully authenticate these materials. It takes a level of audacity, or maybe it's just ignorance. I actually think that's what it was. She has no idea what she's talking about. She shows up for these hearings looking for dramatic moments that will viralize on social media. I don't think she knows that every major media outlet has authenticated these materials. I authenticated them. Many media outlets authenticated them before the election. But the ones she trusts have now come out and said there's no question, not only are they authentic, but the story about how they made their way to first to the FBI and then to the Rudy Giuliani and the New York Post was entirely true. But what she's really angry about is that any of this is even being looked into at all. She continues to call this authentic archive disinformation. I mean, she's just a blatant liar. I'm really asking that. Even a lot of the Democrats on the committee were willing to acknowledge that the materials are authentic. No one to this day calls that disinformation anymore, except her. She considers to this day what the New York Post did to be immoral, even though it was accurate reporting, because the only moral metric they recognize, as Sam Harris said, is whether or not it helps defeat Donald Trump.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
That's Turncoat Don with a classic AOC. It's Glenn Greenwald calling out AOC here. Here goes Sabrina talking to Bree on the heel and Robbie about AOC's appearance.
So, AOC for president, what are your thoughts?
I would not vote for AOC for president.
Oh,
And it's not so much about, I would say, her political ideology, because I came out of the Bernie Sanders movement. I heavily supported AOC when she ran the first time. My issue with AOC is I feel like she wants to be more of a celebrity and less of a politician. I would really like to see her organize with people on the ground. I feel like she has a large following. We could use that support, those of us who are organizing on the ground. And what I've seen from her, it seems like she just wants to go along with what the corporate Democrats in DC want. She's going along with people like Nancy Pelosi. We saw the switch from when she first entered Congress and she was protesting outside of Nancy Pelosi's office. And then she went from that to calling Pelosi Mama Bear. So it's very clear to me, I think she wants to be a career politician, which is what she said that she would actually go against. When she first started running, she said she didn't care if she was a one-term congressperson. And obviously, I don't think that's true today. So I think that the problem that I have with AOC is I don't feel like she's actually fighting for these progressive issues the way that she said that she would. And I feel like she's starting to use identity politics as an excuse for people not to support her if she were to run for president. She may not realize she's making herself come across like a victim. And I felt like that interview with GQ, it was depressing. That's not inspiring. And we're not saying that you can't talk about the challenges I think that you are facing, like as a progressive in DC. We're not saying you can't talk about that, but look, I'm in an interracial relationship. Yeah, there are challenges that come across with that. Deal with it. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't just blame everything that's happening to you, every bad thing that's happening to you on identity politics. So I think that if AOC wants to run for president, I think that she first has to be able to handle these situations that she's going through now. And I don't feel like she's doing a good job at doing that. And she's going to have even more pressure if you run for president.
That's Sab again. Yes. JD is on. I think he's out. Let me know if he's back, actually. Let me know if Jimmy DORE, who should be started already, he starts at 3 my time, 3 his and I time. Got that one. Several Turncoat Don videos. We got a Nick video. Let's go with this one.
I will make the argument that it take a special kind of evil and maliciousness to do what AOC and Bernie Sanders has done. And the professional managerial class, for the most part, has protected them from the reckoning that is going to come. This reckoning, and you see the increased anger about AOC and Bernie. Even Jacobin now has the balls to criticize AOC and Bernie Sanders now, just because there's overwhelmingly dislike over her. And her politics has failed. It's just a fact. If you look at how she is as unpopular as Kamala Harris, even though she quote unquote support popular policies, that because her politics and her willingness to be just a PR agent of a Democratic Party while stealing working class people's money has grossly offended the real left. And my friend, Comrade Missy, predicted that she's going to be the next Nancy Pelosi, and that's exactly what's going on. When you look at her pro-war votes, when you see how she's whipping support for the Democratic Party, that is exactly what her role is right now. She completely abandoned the left.
The transformation is complete. She basically is Nancy Pelosi now. Politico welcomed her to the fold just a few months ago with an article entitled, The Evolution of AOC, and the subheadline was something like, she went from being an outsider to the ultimate team player. The thing that I find so sickening about it is that in reality, she and Bernie, who convinced people they were waging a war against the Democratic establishment, what makes AOC and Bernie so insidious is that in a lot of ways, they've become the most important weapon of the Democratic Party establishment. It's the most valuable asset. At the same time, they were pretending to undermine it because you don't need to convince Rachel Maddow fans to go and vote Democrat. They're going to vote Democrat no matter what. What you need are the kind of younger people who don't really like the Democratic Party, whose self-identity depends on keeping the Democratic Party at a distance, who may not vote, who may vote for Cornel West as a protest. And AOC and Bernie are the ones who lead those people, the ones you really need to get out their asses and go vote every 2 years and to vote for the Democratic Party without fail. So at the same time, they're telling people and collecting money based on the fraudulent image that they're enemies of the Democratic Party establishment. They, in fact, are its most important instruments.
All right, so now the final video to take us out. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching.
They fucking ran on. Are you out of your fucking mind? That we have to be nicer to them to get them to do what they fucking ran on? You're a cuck if you don't fucking hold their feet to the fire. They ran on it. The DSA, it's in their goddamn fucking manifesto that this is the centerpiece and they won't get on it. Shame them. That's what fucking works. Do you think this happened because I was fucking nice to them? No, it's because I finally started holding the Justice Democrats to account for their bullshit. That's why this happened, not because I was fucking nice. And that's what's wrong with the left. They're a bunch of fucking mealy-mouthed, spineless pricks who don't do a fucking thing. The moment came and they did nothing. And they sold you out for their careers. I don't care if they don't take corporate money. They are a brand. They are a celebrity fucking brand. They sold you out for their own careers, their own celebrity brand, and their own fucking protection. That's what they did. What is the point of voting for people who don't take corporate money if they fucking go along with the people who do? There's no point. This is a failed experiment. This is a failed experiment. If you don't recognize that the progressive movement is unbelievably fucking decimated, and that they won't even fight a little, and you don't see this as an existential crisis, the squad agrees with us, our policy positions, but when they won't do anything to implement them, it doesn't fucking matter. When Ro Khanna comes on my show and says, I think we should force a vote for Medicare for all, and then a chance comes up to do it and he doesn't do it, it doesn't matter that he says it or agrees with my position, does it? No. In politics, the only thing that matters is the outcome. It doesn't matter how the sausage gets made. The outcome is what matters. I don't care. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And if you're not willing to threaten the Justice Democrats and scare the shit out of them, they're going to do exactly what they just did yesterday. Sell you out for their own celebrity and career, which is what happened. The vast majority of Democratic voters want Medicare for all. Progressive independents want it. Even a majority of Republicans polled, yet the Progressive Caucus squandered their golden opportunity. We still came out to advocate for forced to vote. God bless those people. Dr. McGowan, God bless you. The Socialist Alternative jumped on board. They endorsed our hashtag forced to vote. Socialist Alternative endorsed it. DSA didn't, even though it's in their manifesto. But I guess we shouldn't, we shouldn't shame them. I jump on board their idea and they come and attack me. I jump on board the Justice Democrats' idea and they come and attack me. That's what they're fucking doing. AOC tried to sick her neoliberals on me by saying I was causing violence, when all I was doing was was exactly what AOC told me to do, which was stop using polite language. She said it. Stop using polite language.